Not anymore, because the gulag has not been in full effect. But this is still, I want to keep it cordial. I want to keep it very PG. Well, PG-13 tonight. Everybody go grab a drink, have something in your hands, review some of the industry content, some of the stuff going around on YouTube, and then of course take any questions you guys have an open Q&A. So before I even go through these videos, there's something I want to ask some of the Chart Addicts members if anyone feel comfortable sharing. But how's your last couple trading weeks been? Anybody been taking advantage of this NASDAQ bull run? And just somebody can just let me know how your trading's been. Mostly because I'm trying to finish up my food, this plate of food that I made. Some of the industry. So if anybody wants to chime in, just let me know. Have the hands raised. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I just finished my Black Friday today. 74 iPhones sold. Damn, son. You make commissions on these sales?
Bro, it's crazy, man.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah, bro.
Max, you single? Pause.
Yeah.
For the ladies watching, Max is single and he's just running it up. All right. So Max, let him know. All right. Don't flood his DMs like that.
Nah, bro, it's crazy, man.
No, I'm fucking around, bro. The audience is, I would say, 95% male. So but dude, 74 iPhones is crazy. That's Black Friday shopping for you. He said, how's it going, Roy? David Sanchez is going great. But yeah, Max, how was your trading going? Like not just today, but past couple of weeks.
Pretty smooth, man. To be honest, since the last masterclass I did, I take more times to just stick to my plans and only take best setup for me, and it works, man. I'm not even rushing into trades, shitty trades or anything. I just taking trades fit with my strategy, and I'm now break even, so I'm like up or down, but yeah, man. Sorry, I just have a pretty busy day, man. I'm tired as fuck. But yeah, man,
Bro, welcome to the squad, man. Wait
so
till this
now
drink hits me. I'm about to be on your level. My bad. Go ahead.
So yeah, man. So my challenge is going pretty good right now. I'm up like 1%, and I'm just hanging around. I'm not in drawdown anymore in my on the challenge, and I'm enjoying trading. So yeah, it's pretty smooth, man.
Is this the first time you've really been enjoying trading like this?
Yeah, for sure, man. I journal every trade. I'm not even looking to be in a trade. I just only look for my setup only, and it's feeling amazing, man, for real.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between enjoying trading and not enjoying? What's not enjoyable about what was happening before?
Every time I just open my MT5 or anything, I just want to be in a trade, and I'm searching for a trade right now, and not be patient to search to look at higher time frame, for example, or just taking time for review the trade before taking it. So now I'm just relaxing the market, and I know what I'm looking for. So if I see my markups or the price I'm looking to buy it or sell it, if it hits, I will take the trade. But if the price don't go at this level or this area I'm looking for, I'm not jumping in the trade for random reason. So that's
That's
the
called
part of
growth, people. That's called growth.
exactly.
Is before it was, I guess, and maybe, and I hope it works. And now it's like, as long as I stick to these rules, now I
Exactly.
know I'm gonna have the success. And that takes you had to see it first, Max. Like when I was telling you what to expect, that's one thing. But when you see it enough times, now you're like, I know that walking away is better than staying here. I know that taking partial profits is better than holding. And so I feel like that's where your experience kind of showing through, bro. Good shit. That's called progress, people.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm proud of it because
German.
1 month ago I was rushing trade. Every challenge I'm taking, I'm in drawdown right off the bat, and I just don't really feel comfortable to trading. So now I'm ready to pass a challenge, and I believe in it. So it's perfect for me.
There we go. Stay consistent throughout the end of the year because the volatility is low. This goes for everybody listening. Just make sure that you guys are keeping in mind December, January, volatility is lower. So whatever momentum you're building and you're very confident and you're getting the strategy down, keep in mind the market timing as well. If you're trying to, you're like, okay, I missed out on the past 20 wins that Roy had. Now it's time for me to double down. No, it's really time to realize that it's December, January. Let's go into learning mode. Let's go into reviewing mode, and let's get into getting ready for 2024 mode instead of trying to juice these accounts for the rest of the month or the rest of the year. But good stuff, Max. I appreciate you. Anybody else? How's your trading been? How's things going? Let's see this. In case you guys are just hopping on, I'm going to be reviewing industry content. What does that even mean? I got a bunch of videos recommended on my homepage regarding trading. I'm going to click on a few of them and see what's going on and just see what people got out here. See what people are pitching. Where's my recommendeds? It's the wrong one. We'll go to, I know Paladin dropped a video or two. You guys, actually, matter of fact, let's have y'all recommend me a video. Recommend me somebody's video, and then I'll give a review to see if it's valid, see if it's legit. Make sure y'all go grab something to drink. We're hanging out tonight. It's going to be a very casual stream. By casual, I mean I really hope the trolls show up because it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Just one or two, just only one, Max. Just one or two. They come in there and be like, Capital Hungry reviews videos better than you. Just one or two of those. You know what I'm saying? I give a quick roast out, and then we can just get back on track. That'd be perfect for everybody. Some give and take. But you guys shout out a video or shout out a specific trader in the industry, and I'll pull up their content, see what they got going on, see if it's legit. Not to put anybody on blast. I'm not here to roast anybody unless they deserve it. If they're doing great work, we're going to give them all the credit and really shine a light on people that are providing value. So y'all let me know. And while you do that, I'm going to finish this food. But I'm going to put the balls in your court now. And then I'm going to go through a couple of the court documents later for my Forex, my frozen funds. Because people were like, Roy, read the court documents. Read the court documents. He wasn't slipping all traders to hell. It was only some of them. I said, you fucking numbskulls. But then again, I had this inclination that they were affiliates for the fund. I mean, I these guys will die on that sword. It wasn't that bad, bro. Couple people lost their accounts. Couple 100 million got frozen. What's the big deal, Roy? You're reading into it too much. Why do you even care, bro? I'm about to fucking steamroll these people. So because I'm gonna read through the entire indictment. I'm going to see what fraudulent actions. And they're going to be like, oh, but we beat the case. First off, let me tell you guys something. The CFTC and the SEC and FINRA and all the regulatory agencies here, they deal billion-dollar frauds. So they drop a couple $100 million thing on some newbie's desk that just started working at the regulatory agency. This dipshit's going to quit in 3 years, go work in the private sector. He doesn't give a fuck. It's them and then their lowest level prosecutor against my frozen funds and a $10 million, a $1,400 an hour lawyer. Who do you think is winning this lawsuit? Of course, my frozen funds, $1,400 an hour lawyer that can get you out of. You could buy a fucking homicide charge in this country at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. I'm not condoning this. I'm just telling you guys exactly how the game is laid out. So could they be guilty and still have gotten away with it? The answer is fuck yeah, obviously. I think these motherfucker slipped them to hell guy, got his hands clean. No, the junior guy who's at the CFTC could not close the case because the guy is brand new on the job. He's got no pull. Chart work, the 2023 strategy that made me over 100K last month. Swaggy C. Okay, we got a video. Swaggy C. The 2023 strategy. Let me see this. Now, I do have to say this. Like, Chris is my boy. So there might be a little bit of bias here. But I have to tell you guys about the bias in advance because I'm going to give this a fair shake. He's my boy. So take that into account. Just throwing that out there. Is this the one 2 months ago? I think this is it. Believe it or not, let me flip the audio over real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Would do a strategy video once or maybe twice a year. Once earlier in the year and then one later in the year, right? Like 2020 strategy, 2021, 2022. But I never did.
So this joint is about 30 minutes. This joint is about 30 minutes. So I'm not going to watch this whole thing. I'm going to skip around and see some of the parts. And then I'm going to go through the strategy. All right. So let's
2023, because I started getting some comments of people saying, yeah, well, this is all, hearsay and in theory. And
I'm going to keep it real. I am going to be finishing this food for the next few minutes. So I'm going to let this play. I'll chime in every second, but you guys are about to see me eat this food. But I'm going to be reviewing this while this thing builds up because I want to see the intros. All right.
They were right. It was all theory. Charts, but they wanted to see it in live action. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. So I went on a rampage this entire year, even early last year, on this is how I made this much money. This is how I made this much money trading. And this is how I did this. And over and over and over and over and over again on my YouTube channel, which is why a lot of times you won't see, here is my strategy. You'll see, here's how I made this much money in this much time. And now I feel like I've done enough and shown enough to give you guys the full strategy on how I actually execute these trades in my own personal life. So without further ado, we are going to get right into this video.
I'm going to keep it real. Swaggy's videos are always next level production. This dude's editing team needs a fucking raise. Excuse my language. I got to stop cursing. Guys, hold me accountable. No more cursing. I'm too smart to be out here cursing like this. Help me out here. Unless there's a troll in the chat. But yo, you guys got to keep me accountable, all right? I'm trying my best.
I've been trading for 9 years, teaching taught over 25,000 students, created some six-figure students and even some seven-figure students. And we're still rolling. We're still creating this empire to change as many lives as possible and make financial education and trading accessible to those interested and who don't have any other options, who may resort to drugs and other options. Like you can sit at home and learn how to trade and become a trader, right? But if you do know who I am, you've seen these type of videos before. Like I said, 2020.
But he just say the only two options are sit at home and trade or go do drugs. Chris,
level is the same, but from a technical,
we're still good so far. Still fucking with the video. There's that one. You're either a crackhead or you're a chart addict. It's one of the two.
You don't know at all, right? So look at my chart, and I'm going to go on gold because gold was the last pair I made money on. If you ever see my previous video, this is the pair where I made 25,000, 26,000 on this pair alone, not including the 7.8K I made on GBP USD. Gold is my favorite pair, always has been. So
hold on, right off the bat, I'm seeing a very simple strategy, right? He's obviously got supply and demand zones. This is what they would consider a multiple confluence strategy, where you have price zones, which are vertical, horizontal. You have these lines running across. You also have trend lines. And so what you're really trying to do is match up where higher time frame zones line up with smaller time frame zones, line up with a touch of the trend line. And when all of those line up in one area, you have a multiple confluence or a high probability trade setup, very similar to the way that Q Banks trades. And obviously, if you're a swing trader, this is how markets work. This is the way that you got to be looking at it, is those high probability opportunities. So I like this so far.
My psychological levels on there. If you don't know what psychological levels are, they're just key areas at key points, right? Key numbers on the charts where price usually hesitates at a lot of times. And for me, I look at these as round numbers. You can even actually, type right now, psychological levels, Forex on Google, and it'll tell you the exact same thing, right? So for gold's a little bit different, right? Prime example, if I'm on GBP USD, like the psych levels, and GBP is still crashing, damn. All right, so I'm in the middle of a strategy video. I'm not going to stop it either. Should I stop this video and get this trade right now? GU is tanking. So I knew GU was going to drop, but I actually got out when...
No, Chris, why would you enter as the market's moving?
Was here. I was cool with just a TP1 because I usually take...
I'm really trying to give this a fair shake, y'all, but...
maybe 60 to 70.
So far, no strikes.
So that's point number one, right? But I was going to have it running TP2, but the issue was it was consolidating and it pulled up and FOMC wasn't too good. So it was like, all right, I'm going to get out. But it's clearly dropping, and I usually trade around this time, right? So I use this as an example of a trade I'm not going to get into, and it frustrates me a lot because I could really stop this video and get in a trade right now. But the issue is, since I have this lab open, right, is where I trade live, I usually will get on a Zoom with everybody and enter the trade live. I don't just... because people may say, oh, why don't you stop the video and get in and then go back? No, because I'm very transparent. So I will do a whole session with my group, but I'm in the middle of a video right now.
Well, take the trade on video. I know I'm a stranger to that concept.
London-ish, New York overlap trader, but I will never, ever, ever enter during those times, right? And I'll get into the psychological levels in a second, like deeper into it. So, prime example, I usually enter my trades between 6:30, right, p.m. and around 9:30 p.m. For the most part, like 99% of my trades are usually entered during that time. Why? Because there's usually low volume in the market, right, p.m.
All right, now he's really giving out some sauce here.
And
now, I'm gonna be honest, there is no one size fits all when it comes to trading. So you have to look at what's best for your account. But I do something very similar. I do take a big chunk after it hits TP1 because that whole love to reverse. And I'm walking away with something, just like Denzel Washington said. I'm leaving here with something. Enter trades between 6:30 and 9:30. He has a very clearly defined window of opportunity that obviously he has back tested based on when the most amount of volume is. So he's been doing this long enough. These are things that you have to clearly define. Everybody wants to be the best trader. Do you have rules that are this clear? Or every time you get to TP1, you're making a choice. Oh, should I close today? Should I hold today? No, you have the fucking rules. And he's really putting out his rules publicly here.
And around 9
props to him.
30 p.m. For the most part, like 99% of my trades are usually entered during that time. Why? Because there's usually low volume in the markets, right? There's not enough liquidity. Markets are kind of consolidating. It's not doing too much. But I'm comfortable placing my trade during that time. So when I place it, market will move a little bit. I'm always comfortable with a little bit of drawdown. And then once it gets to London session, for the most part, it's either I already forgot about the trade or I'm already laying down with my wife, right? Like I'm.
Oh, so what he's saying that he enters during the low volume sessions. So while the market is flat, while there's not a lot of action, and then he'll let it move during the high volume sessions, which as a swing trader makes a ton of sense.
I woke up this morning.
As a day trader, not the most amount of sense, but as a swing trader for sure.
Like I knew it was going to get to 1950. I called it out in my lab. I said I can even go over here. I called it out plain as day, which was over here, right? Like go 1950, may draw down a little bit, 1925, whatever case may be. If it comes down 100%, getting back in, I do expect a little bit of drawdown, whatever, right? Called it out, right? This was Monday though, right? Now, Wednesday morning, which is today's Wednesday night, because I know there's not much it can go, right? Like I expect drawdown. So a lot of my trades, I will tell on the lab, like, hey, I expect a little.
Yeah, real deal. I stopped. You know what I'm saying? I'm finished eating. I feel like a whole new person. I've literally been on calls since 6 a.m. I'm literally back to life. I am praying that Capital Hungry himself shows up to the stream tonight. Not even I want him to bring the final boss. Bring him to me right now. Somebody send him this stream and let's see if we can get this shit. Let's see if we can get this on the road. About to act reckless. I got a couple of drinks in. Swaggy obviously going through this trade. My boy got a box right here. You already know that I'm with this. Stop loss a little bit too tight. I don't know what broker he's trading on, but a little bit too much faith in that broker, fam. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen somebody like, no, I'm not gonna body shame people. Damn. But why so many jokes, man? Fuck. We got to go to Rumble or something, but we got to get off YouTube. This shit gets ridiculous because, I had the funniest jokes, bro. I really got to contain myself. But yeah, I see a box. Obviously, I approve here so far. This is. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is very straightforward. This guy Tony Gold out here saying a bunch of stuff. I think the issue in our industry, my boy trying to tell me about the industry, buddy, you write in too many words. If you think I'm gonna read that as disrespectful, I can't read. So this is now I'm gonna take that as a sign of disrespect. You put me on the spot. I'm dyslexic. All right. Anybody, unless they provide whoop timeline track record that supports their skills, okay? We don't know if the person will, with perfect entry, lost 40% of their account to finally go in their favor of the trade. That's very true. It's just an issue that will never be solved. That's not true, because that's why I live stream. Because the decisions are made and the result is usually shown in real time. So it either works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, I can't just be like, oh, you guys didn't see it. You guys didn't see that. No, we lose and we win publicly. And I feel like that's the most raw and honest way to do it because you can see the decision making in real time. It's not just about, I entered here and I closed here. It's like, no, I'm in this trade and I'm in drawdown in front of thousands of people or hundreds of people. And I got to make sure that I maintain that discipline. And I got to make sure I maintain that focus. And doing it in real time, sometimes I am second guessing myself. Sometimes I am just kind of like, damn, should I enter another position? That I feel like is about as raw as it's gonna get. But I get what you mean though, Tony. Look, we host the FX Summit, and people sent us back in the past verified track records. This is before I knew that you could fake your own track records and all this stuff. And then somebody brought it to my attention. It's like, bro, a lot of these brokers are owned by the top affiliates. And so, you know, a lot of these results may not be accurate. And that's where I started to realize how deep this game went. And so anybody can fake MT4 screenshots, even MT4 withdrawals, verified track records. At this point, it's all faked except for live execution in front of everybody. It's either going to work or it's not. And it's like pulling the trigger right there, right? We're going to get it's like we're going to get the answer right now. And plus, I hate swing trading. Like, props to Swaggy. I can't swing trade because I don't want to wait for the answer. Whenever I take a test, I want to get the answer right away. If I failed, tell me I failed right now. I ain't trying to sit there and wait and be like, did I fail? Did I not fail? Da-da-da. So we should give less credibility or respect to those who don't trade live. No, I didn't say that at all. Buddy, I said I like blue. This guy's like, Roy hates red. No, I said I like blue. All right? So fucking whole monopoly is ran on the retail community. But I was about to say something rude. I was about to say something really rude for no reason, bro. I need help at this point. This is a problem. I feel like I gotta go to whatever fucking anger management classes Bill Burr went to. Damn, it's no originality I see. Bro, we're done. Well, there's two of you. There's two Tony Golds. Yeah, you're definitely getting roasted. Why is there two of you? I'm gonna give you one shot here to make this make sense before my head hurts. That's a different number. I'm dyslexic. It's 1110. Okay, we got a fucking 1100 and 410. Why is there two people with the same name? I'm going back to the Swaggy video.
I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go be with my girl or my man.
This is so stupid.
And come back and check it later. And then you come back and then this happens. It tanks all the way back down. Then you made no profit. Now you're actually losing because the entry was at 1933. Now you're actually negative. Take profit. The market.
Roy, someone is biting my name. Wow, it's crazy. Hell no, get him, Roy. Which one of y'all was talking shit? Now I feel like like the House of Mirrors where you're getting chased and you find the guy and he's like, no, it's the other guy, and you're like, which one of you's the real one? Which one of y'all was talking shit? Yo, this guy's saying that you're the fraud, that you're the fake account, Tony Gold 110, bro. I just got scammed twice, and I honestly just tired of this industry. 410 is Maryland. Bro, I'm so confused, bro. Both of y'all are scammers at this point. You guys got about 2 seconds to explain the case, not to me, but for the rest of the class, because I'm out here trying to focus on the video, but I'm going to let the team do the investigation. You guys run this side investigation and figure out who the real Tony Gold is, because this is unacceptable behavior. 410 is Maryland. I like blueberries. Why are we just calling out random stuff? 410 is fake. I'm real and genuine. Oh my God. Swaggy, I'm sorry. Hold on. Chris. Bro, I really don't even mean disrespect by talking over the value. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get back to this in a second. He said, I've been real. Y'all, what do you think? Put a 1 if you think that Tony 410 is the real. And put a 2 if you think that Tony Gold 1100 is the real. Put a 1 if you think it's 410. Or just give me a good question I got to ask. How do I even qualify? Who's Tony Gold? What is this? He says, I'm the real and genuine. He said, you talked with me. He's a fraud. Tony, I've talked to you? He said, you're the judge, Roy. I'll send you my statement. Statement of what? Buddy, don't send me any statements. I am not a witness. Did I just witness something? Am I an accessory am I accessory after the fact? Guys, should I end the stream? He said, you're the judge. Buddy, I ain't a judge of nothing. Don't ever equate me with the law. All right? This guy's voting for himself. What kind of sick, twisted game is this? Yo, sorry. He said, I'll send you my driver's license. Yo, bro, do not send public information in the chats. Don't do it. This is ridiculous, bro. This guy voted for himself. That's a sick guy. All right, we're getting back to the Swaggy C video to see what's going on here, man.
All the back.
Tony, no, this is Tony on Tony violence right now. This is Tony on Tony crime. And I need you guys to settle this out. Can we just have a handshake? I'm involved in the case. Don't ever say that to me again. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no recollection. I plead the fifth. And I'd like to speak with my attorney. I don't know. Look, you too. Post my social security. No, oh my God. No, stop it. No. Did he just expose the other Tony social? Tony Gold is not a licensed name. Yo, this is nuts. What advice would you take away from Swaggy's video as a day trader, or knowledge would you apply from this video? Hunet, thank you, because you got us back on track.
Retest it, broke all the way above, right?
That's
125, right? 122.5 is that mid-level, right? So you can see I can drop. And my
Give me something, Chris.
trading guide, right? And all 22, 121, they're the active place level here.
Okay, let's take a look at this chart real quick. Let's do some chart reviews. Obviously, well, we just talked about
I don't have a level
kind of
here
a swing. I was trying to move this video. That's ridiculous. Okay, so obviously we have a trend line forming here. Price was getting weaker and weaker at the top. We have a 3-drive extension. So you guys see, can the market go sideways? You go 1, 2, 3. That's the last push, and then you have this release. Now he's got all of his, all the potential zones that the market could hit on the way down. TP1, it looks like he found the most recent area of resistance turned to support. So this kind of looks like the traditional swing trading. Look at key levels, look at areas of support and turn resistance, take the whole chart into account, and then find these daily support levels or daily demand zones for potential downside targets. Everything he's doing, it makes a lot of sense. Now, keep in mind that when you're swing trading, the execution of the strategy is what matters. If you close the trade after 7 days, or like he's saying, he's seeing it move, he didn't enter the trades early enough, and so now he wants to get back into the positions. So the execution of the strategy is more important than just the analysis itself. You guys, does that make sense? So that's my biggest takeaway here is he's saying that he did not enter the trade, but he's showing discipline and saying, I'm going to wait till later, find it, wait for it to reset. But from the higher time frames, he seems to have the trade idea fully mapped out.
Too many in terms of design and visuals. I like to keep my charts kind of clean. But if I had a level here, right, you'll see price hesitated, stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, broke through, retested, stopped here, right? So that is a level. But I like to keep the differences between my whole levels in terms of 120.
Tony Gold said, I support peace. Bro, the first person to back out of the altercation just talking about, yo, that don't make you sound, brother, if you're in the right, you better stand up for yourself, Tony Gold. It's hard to wait around for something you know might never happen, but it's harder to give up when you know it's everything you want. Yo, kick Tony Gold out of here, bro. Get fucking, this dude thinks he's fucking Sun Tzu in here. Bro, get him out of here. This boy fucking thinks he's Tony Robbins in the fucking chat. Buddy, I'm trying to focus on Chris, all right?
Long time.
You're out here giving me philosophical statements. My head hurts.
Move the indicators too. Keep it all clean, right? Just purely candlesticks, right? You can look at this, right, as a downtrend, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? We may have a lower high soon, but I'm looking at it from a perspective of 125, 124, 123, 122, 121. They're all levels, but the major levels is 120, 125, 130, right? So
what he's doing is, and keep in mind, psychological levels have more than just some kind of like superstitious quality to them. That because it's a round number, it's going to be more highly reactive. When institutions are trading on the higher time frames, they're looking at these psychological zones because you don't see all the little micro levels in between. They're looking at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 on the higher time frames. So when you're looking at institutional swing trading zones, psych levels are a great guide for where the market's going to head to. Now, keep in mind that unless you're, if you're using small lots, it don't matter. It gets to the psych level, you enter, you get in some drawdown, it's fine. But this thing is going to play around that psych level. And depending on what the higher time frame you're using, this thing's going to dip through it, dip back above it, dip through it, dip back above it. You can get the best entries using smaller time frame execution strategies, especially if you have this higher time frame play. So really look into psychological levels, especially for Forex pairs, because banks are not here on the high frequency trading firms and what they call risk parity funds or high beta funds, which are trying to outperform the markets. They use high frequency technology. They're trading on the smaller time frames because they're trying to front run a bunch of orders, meaning enter 1,000 trades before the market moves so they can capitalize on these small market movements. Now, institutional like banks and central banks, they're looking at exchange rates on, a 6-month, 12-month, 18-month hold. So they're looking at these higher time frame plays from level to level. And that's why psych levels are so valuable, mostly for Forex. Less relevant in the indices space.
So this GU chart where TP2 is at 122.5. Do I know 1.2300 flat?
We just lost a bunch of viewers once I stopped roasting the Tonys. That's despicable. All right, I just provided some amazing value. You guys want me to roast the Tonys? Nope. We have peace now, and we have had cooperation amongst the Tonys, and we kicked We kicked one of them out. So I don't know. That happened. But just to let you guys know, we did lose about half the audience once I stopped roasting the Tonys. And people asked, my mother called me. She said, Roy, why you keep cursing on the streams? You gotta have more decorum. I'm just doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm just reading the fucking crowd.
Right. I trade purely price.
I just cursed again. Nobody held me accountable.
Price broke a psychological level. Price place, you know, smaller. This drop was, or when you're looking at this.
So I think he goes through an execution strategy here. So this is actually what I'm interested in. And just based on the 3 seconds I saw, I know my masterclass folks are thinking what I'm thinking. I know my masterclass folks see the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. I know you guys see it now. Oh, Lord. It doesn't get better than this.
To come up, and there's a level. Let me get this ray again. There's a level right here, right? At one.
James said, should we make a swear jar? Yo, James, first off, I was going to say $50 every time I swear, but this thing is going to add up like crazy. So let's do something like $10 every time I swear, and I'll donate all of it to St. Jude's Hospital. Deal? But you guys got to keep track, because you know I'm letting it rip. And if there's a day where I'm making a ton of money, I might just start letting it rip just so I can donate to the kids. But you guys got to keep me accountable. Deal? We'll do $10 a swear word every time I curse, and I'll donate. Put a 1 in the chat on YouTube if that's a good idea. Put a 1 in the chat on the Zoom if you guys think that's a good idea. If I swear, right? If I swear, I have to put $1 or I have to put $10 into the jar, and then we'll take whatever it is at the end of the week, donate it to St. Jude's. I'll match it, whatever it might be. If it's too low, I'll match it. If I've been letting it rip, if I've just been cursing and letting that be my therapy, my retail therapy, just blowing money left and right, then I will not match it, because it's going to hurt the way it is, even though it's for the kids. Donate it, fake trader, so you will actually commit. Donate it to a fake trader, James. Dude. No, man. No. That's one of those things, man. You just put me on the spot. No, I'm gonna have to give it to the kids, because the scammers do not need the fucking money. Oh my God. We haven't started the clock yet. Chill out. We're still negotiating the terms right now. We're still negotiating. I let it fly. It happened. We're still negotiating the terms. Everybody take your hand off the trigger. I get a pass on that one. We're still negotiating here. Okay. It looks like we got a bunch of ones. W for donating to the kids. It's always for the kids. Why? Because adults, it's a messy world out there. They're very messy. You know what I'm saying? Let adults handle adult business. Kids, they never had a shot. We're born with some weird illness that nobody can explain at St. Jude's, which is one of the only places that can treat this rare and very strange illness. They have no luck. They're just born with horrible luck for the kids. And that's why I said that I would spar or fight almost anybody in the industry for the sake of the children. Everybody can have a betting match, because now apparently betting on sports is legal. And then we can donate that money to the children for pay-per-view clicks. Mostly so I can get the clout, and 2, because I do want to fight a few people in the industry, not on anything malicious, but mostly because to get retribution for the many of peoples that have been denied payouts or have, you know, bought some programs that might not have been what it was all cracked out to be. Said, yo, I just arrived. What's good? Well, I just negotiated terms, I believe, with James and a few of the people in this group, that when I curse, we're going to put money into a swear jar, and then that money is going to get donated to the children. And that's the new revelation that just happened. Now we're going to get back to the Swaggy C video that I'm, you know, kind of commenting on right here. Chris doing a great job. I basically talked over everything Chris has said, but I think he's doing amazing. Let's see how we're doing. Let's see how we go for the rest.
That GU could get to, and if it can get to that, this would be my little mini level. And again, going into but here, right? You may see this level. Like, I'm gonna get back to my point in a second, right? The little boxes that I have on these, you know, daily time frames. Over here, give me a second, guys. All right. These levels that I have help me analyze what's going on, right? So this is not a quote unquote like major area at one point.
I was not talking about James Storms. I was talking about that James is my boy. Look, I don't want to fight anybody that I like. Okay, I would not fight people that I actually like. These are my boys, right? I want to fight people I don't like. You know,
right? So I'm gonna mark that, right? Even over here for, let's say, gold, for example, this is people may say, oh, this is confusing. It's not. Created another lower high. I can get a reacting to it. Let me actually place a little bit below it as well, right? Have a react. So if price were to come anywhere near this level, I may get a sell limit. Why? Bunch of reasons. Price retested, created another lower high. I can get a little mini trend line right here, A, B, C, which will allow us price to come down here. I can even get a Fibonacci.
I was just about to say, I was like, bro, throw a fib on here. And this is rock solid. If you could just throw a fib, waited for one of the higher levels near the top of the range, and as long as it doesn't recover and start a new higher low, he's got the trend lines on multiple time frames, zones going all the way from the weekly, daily, and 4 hour. And he's looking at this, I believe, right now on the 2 hour. It kind of went in. So this is the big takeaway, y'all. We got the higher time frames for the analysis and the smaller time frames for the execution. That's how it's done. And he's using all the different time frames to layer with each other, not to have all this conflicting information and random lines, but use it all in confluence without, trying to be corny about it, in confluence with each other in order to find these high probability trades. So y'all better put some respect on Swaggy, man. Put some respect on Chris. He really out here giving out some sauce. And he threw the fib on here, bro. I feel like, come on now. Come on now. Let's go, Chris.
I'd be comfortable with the sell, right?
Personally, I would look for a deep retracement, but also I don't trade GA or GU anymore. And so, maybe 38 to 50, shallow retracement, let it keep going. That could be the play. For me personally, I'd wait for the 61 or the 78, so a bit higher all the way up here. But then again, that's just preference, and maybe that's just his execution strategy.
Now, however, this is not a signal, right? This is me. I would have to deeply analyze this with the lab and do it, but I may as well say I may get it. Depends, all right? So take this with a grain of salt. If the market just shoots up, I'm comfortable with that, right? I'm comfortable with a sell limit here. But if the market does this, I'm telling you guys right now, if the market does this, it comes up and then it comes down right here and places a higher low and starts to come back up and break through this, get out. Get out, because this is structure being broken right here. It gave us a higher low, right? But you would still be in profit because this is where you'd enter. Most people would see that higher low being created and then still wait, be like, oh, is it going to get to 1.23? No, structure is broken.
Another important tip here is he's talking about conditional trading, which means that, okay, he just did the whole markup, and as much time as he spent on the analysis, it's irrelevant because he's saying, unless the market gives me these confirmations, I'm not going to entertain this trade. If the market just straight breaks through the zone and doesn't give an entry opportunity, there's no reason to just jump into this trade. So at the end of the day, that's where experience comes in, where you're able to put enough time into the analysis and trust what you've seen over and over again. But then to have that conditional scenario-based decision-making, which means unless X happens, I won't do Y. Or if X happens, I will do Y. And that's sort of like the people who get married to, I will do this at the zone. Like as soon as it hits that level, I'm going to sell it for 100% versus let's see how price reacts at that level. The people who say, let's see how it reacts to that level shows a level of experience. The people that say, no, it will do this at that level, what I tell them is give it enough time. Once reality sets in and you realize that the markets are not a certainty game, it's a game of probability. That's where his experience is now shining through with that distinction right there.
Because chances are most likely it's going to come back down unless there's some crazy news announcement regarding the pound or the US dollar I'm not aware of. And if it comes down, because profit and all that. So
all in all, I think it was dope. It was a breakdown of the strategy he's using. But I mean, to be completely real, he didn't exactly go through let me rephrase this. He went through exactly what you would need to know to be successful using this strategy. And if you were to dig deep long enough, like we went through some superficial things on this call, right? I went through and just kind of nitpicked some things I wanted to pay attention to. But if you went into detail on everything he said, you'd realize that there's some wisdom in this, that he's not just drawing trend lines because he showed up yesterday. If you don't know what you're doing and you draw trend lines year after year and they're not working, at some point, you're going to adjust and know that they work. Now, I'm not saying that about Chris because I know he's been trading for a long time, but at the same time, like you could tell where the experience comes in. by layering different confirmations over and over. So pretty good stuff. Whoever recommended that video, good stuff. It said top 3 Roy Q Swaggy knowledgeable traders in the space. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. What advice would I take away? How many Tony Golds we got in here? Yeah, bro, it got messy. Are they all gone? Roy versus James Storms. Bro, do not try to pin me against my friends, right? I'm a peaceful guy. I'm out here trying to roll up and whatnot. But then again, if there's anybody that's not paying traders out, there's anybody that you guys would like to see me fight. By the way, the funded trader is no longer ducking the interview. I did get a call back. They are very busy because obviously a lot going on that side. But I did get a call back saying that they want to do the interview. So let me know. What are some questions? Let me write these down, actually. Let me get you guys involved here. What questions should I ask Angelo when we finally sit down face to face? I'm going to be cigar style. I'm going to have the Mafia music playing. I know that, I know it's going to set the tone. We're going to have a serious sit down and talk about the state of the industry. Say, Angelo, you're the head of the family. What's happening in the prop firm space? And hopefully he gives us some clarity and helps us figure out and helps us navigate what the next, year looks like for prop firms. So let me know what questions you guys think I should ask. While you keep in mind that a lot of prop firms are going out of business, there's a lot of talk about brokers getting kicked off of meta quotes and how that could affect the prop firms. And there's a lot of talk about prop firms, a lot of these guys just not being solvent. Meaning right now, the win rate is low enough for everyone to make money. Once the win rates start going up and these firms are just not able to keep up with the payouts, they're going to have to deny people payouts and ruin their reputations. So what does that look like? Let me know some questions you guys have that I should ask Angelo. If there's none, you guys want me to sit here and just say funny stuff, just let me know. Because it seems like we got some low turnout on a Friday night, which is understandable because I'm reviewing videos at the end of the day. It's been a long-ass week. But I was going to watch some of these videos anyways. I was going to watch the Paladin one. And I'm not watching the supercar traders. Like, a few of these people, my boys, but we'll keep it to real trading videos. Let me know what you guys are saying. Let's actually react to a podcast. Let me see if there's some podcast highlights somewhere. Oh, matter of fact, this is what I wanted to react to was that podcast with the 4 people on Riz's thing. What was it? This joint.
The amount of people that were like, you should trade SMC, you'll be able to make stuff.
So these guys, there's 4 really big name traders on this podcast. Umar, obviously one of the top traders in the space, not even in the Forex space, just young traders in general. Finally got a chance to meet him out there in Dubai. Really down to earth. I don't know who this guy is, but seems like another successful trader. We have Raja Banks in here. That's the boy, the troll himself. And then Waqar Asim, who honestly I think had the best takes on this podcast. I really like that dude. They had all 4 of them here, but they did miss a bunch of stuff when they're having a back and forth. So hopefully I can just kind of nail some things that might be relevant depending on what they're saying.
Turns, you go, right, it's your turn. You stop it when you want, and then you
so right now they're talking about journaling trades.
Trade. So rather than going back and going, oh yeah, well that happened and that happened, you just, okay, what would I do in this situation?
So I call that blind testing. And I think there's a ubiquitous difference between people that blind test like this. You don't really see what price action happened. Traditional backtesting is, I saw price went up, let me go investigate. That's just investigating price, you're not backtesting. Then there's blind backtesting where you actually go replay mode, random time, random dates. You don't know what happened and you're doing it in...
They also call that random testing.
Still in an isolated format. Because yes, okay, you're put in front of people in a Zoom call, so you've got to be accountable to them. And that is a step up. But I think you really can't compete with, let's say you're trading a demo account in the live markets. It's almost there, but it's still not going to be the same as putting your money in the market, because now you're dealing with FOMO. You're dealing with, okay, the pain of losing your hard-earned money. And these kind of things you need to be accustomed to. And I think that's the best learning vessel, which is over time, spend time in the real markets. But with money, you can actually afford to lose. Start up with just $1,000 account, spend 2 years on that level. And if you do that, as opposed to trying to play around with funded accounts, trying to play around with, putting all your cash into it, whatever, just starting with a small account, not a demo account, I believe is that happy medium, because you're giving yourself exposure to real conditions without the actual detriment of, I'm going to spend $1,000 every month on funded accounts, or I'm going to keep.
So I would say he hit it on the head, but he missed one thing. So there's blind testing, which is just basically going back. You can't see what the price is doing, and you just find trades just for the sake of like, what's the next trade to find. When you're strategy testing, which is what I really urge traders to do, is you take a specific set of rules. Let's say that when the market breaks the daily low, when it closes at least 50% lower than the last candle, and when there's a bullish engulfing through the other side, that's when I look for my entries. And what you do is you go back into the markets and look for instances where that was true, and look for instances where it was not true. And you're really just testing whether that strategy is valid over 10 trades, 20 trades, 30 trades, 40 trades. You can't just find a strategy that works kinda. It has to work the majority of the time once these conditions are in place. So blind testing or random testing, what I don't want to butcher his name, what Carr just said he's 100% right. You can't just go back in there and just blind test and expect that to be relevant. But strategy testing helps you build confidence, because you can't take enough trades in the live environment to get the experience you need and to get the confidence right away. You're gonna have to take 25 or 30 trades at that point to really get it to sink in. But when you're strategy testing and you're kind of going back in time and looking at the strategy working over and over and over and over, specifically using this rule set and only looking for trades that fit that rule set, that's when you build that unlimited confidence in the strategy. When you load a live account, you're not going to be hesitating as much because you trust that the system will play out. So that's really the biggest difference there.
So do 1,000 a month. I'm going to spend on fun and go and see if it works.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
I was just gonna add on to
Take it
your
easy,
point
Max.
of, hey, I journal when I start realizing I'm making mistakes. So my point is, now if you continue,
Also, bro, how do I get, first, I don't want to talk over Umar, but bro, how do I get more people on the stream? Do I have to like call out Epstein's flight list? What do I have to do? Who do I have to roast? Do I have to say Donald Trump 3 times and the algo will kick it? Like, what do I say? What's the hot buzzwords right now? There's only 2 genders. I don't know. What do I have to say to get the algo jumping, bro? It seems like the numbers have been stuck. You guys like the stream real quick. Like the stream if you guys are on here. Just so we can get a little bit more viewers to pull up. And then we'll just see whatever questions people have regarding this, regarding trading in general. Okay, let's see what they're saying here.
we're taking this as a real serious craft, why don't we treat it as a serious craft, right? So the idea of journaling I think people have is very basic, right? And what I mean by that is, hey, go write your entries, write your exits, things like that. But like, for example, in TradeZella, it's not to like promote it or whatnot, but just talking about it is we are able to go deeper and like, hey, Roger, you were in a trade, you made 20,000. We see a trade, we made 20,000, but how do you know that in that trade, you were down 40K at one point? How do you know at one point you were up 60 grand, right? So it's like, there's deeper metrics of being able to see on one dashboard, hey, we realized that you don't maximize your trades. When you're in your trades, you're up 60,000 on average, but you closed it at 20K. So on the P&L, you might say, wow, I made 200 grand this month. But when you go back in deeper, you're like, what? Well, if I maximize these trades, I could have made 600 grand, right? Same thing of looking at strategies. Okay, these are my strategies. What market conditions do these strategies work the best in? So for us, we have gaps up and downs in the market, right? SPY opens up at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Is it gapping up, gapping down? I have these sort of strategies. What market conditions do these strategies work well under? On gap up, gap downs? What volume conditions do these strategies work under? Now, also, I don't know, in Forex, it's kind of the same, I would say so. Certain strategies, certain ways of looking at the market don't continuously work for a long period of time. They start shifting. So for me, when I'm journaling, I start picking that up like, wow, this strategy or this focus on the market isn't working. I'm realizing that these patterns or this ideology in the market hasn't been working the past couple of days. So I'm able to put a stop and take a step back and be more aware of it instead of taking that trade over and over again and going on like a 6-day, 7-day losing streak and saying, okay, let me go and start journaling now.
Look, this is why Umar has so much credibility with building TradeZella, is because he genuinely understands something called optimization, is where you find out exactly what's going wrong. You can pinpoint where in the system something is broken, and you're able to fix it ahead of time, like he just said, as opposed to waiting until it gets too bad and then trying to fix it there. So I think this is really crucial, and I think he just hit it on the head. And TradeZella is a perfect business for someone who genuinely understands that data collection.
No problem.
But my argument to that would be that it's your job to identify that anyway.
Yeah.
So like for me, I don't, and this is no disrespect to
Yeah, no,
that, but I don't need to journal to realize that I'm making a mistake.
Oh no,
Yeah.
as long as you can realize that, that's fine. The whole idea is to be able to realize the mistake.
Said Epstein's flight list got me in tears, bro. What do I have to do? I posted it on IG. If you guys wouldn't mind just snapping a picture on Instagram and just tagging us on the story, I'll repost everybody. But it just seems like, you know, it could get a lot more viewers. We could get this shit popping. We could get this thing funny. Have a bunch of special guests start to pull up. Because I just posted this. A lot of people are going to. Oh damn! I just messed it up. A lot of people are going to want to hop on once they see, like, Umar might want to hop on. All these guys might want to hop on if they see me reacting to their stream here or to their podcast.
Agree that when you start trading, you definitely need to journal, right? There's no way that you can just start running through the markets and going without looking at, I felt like this in this trade and it led me to do this and that ended up with this. Okay, let me change, blah, blah, blah. But I think that when the idea is to build a skill, right? So my skill is what I depend on. My knowledge is what I depend on and my intuition is what I depend on. So I journal when I want to improve something, or I journal if I can't figure it out, then there's something going wrong.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen often anyway. Usually, for example, I have a friend that he takes one certain type of thing in sense of, like you said, the market shifts, right? So it shifts. And I said to him, you need to identify that quicker, man. Like it was like 2 weeks that he had losses. And then after that, he figured it out. And then, so if he was journaling, he probably could have picked it up quicker, 100%. But my opinion to him was, you need to pick that up quicker. Not like, oh, we'll check it and what's going on with this. Why didn't you identify that something was off? Why didn't you see that the market was in a different structure?
I'm gonna be honest. I actually really like what this guy's saying, because what he's talking about is intuition versus data analysis. Now, data analysis is the most surefire way to check what's happening, but by the time you see it in the numbers and you can make sense of it, it's already too late. When you build an intuition about the markets, and like I just told you guys before, how the markets are going to slow down in December, and I'm starting to see the market slowing down. It's because I've built this intuition that I see the markets moving every day, and I know when it's moving slower than usual. So when he said you need to identify that quicker, he's not just telling you like, hey, be better. What he's really telling his friend is you need to learn, you need to become so comfortable with the instrument that you're trading and so aware of how the market mechanics are that you can intuitively just straight up tell when something's out of place. And so I think that there's a benefit of both, is having the data collection side, because you can't improve what you can't measure, but also building that intuitive sense so that you can make those play-by-play decisions, because this is what matters in trading.
I agree and disagree, I guess. But
So, Elliot, how would you determine? Let's say you took a loss, so you knew you had something to work on, something to improve. But if you're not correctly documenting it, you could have taken that loss, and in your mind you attribute that to my lower time frame confirmations were off. But what if your lower time frame confirmations were fine, but you misread structure? So then in your head you mislabeled it, and that was in isolation. That was one trade analysis. But then if you had a log of 100 trades, you'd actually maybe more correctly identify that my problem is not my lower time frame confirmations, which I thought was the case. It was actually something.
God, that's so good.
So I feel
That's so spot on.
Directs you on what to investigate. And secondary is more, how can you, it's hard to be in the mentality of I'm fine, like everything's working good, because you might be profitable and maybe on that high hill of everything's good, but you know, there's another mountain. So for me, it's like, even if I've reached a position where I'm satiated with what I'm able to achieve.
And by the way, since we do a lot of coaching at Chart Addicts, what I realize is that the misdiagnosis of a problem is what holds a lot of traders back. Is you might think that the issue is psychology, for example, but really it's the strategy. And so what he just said is that misdiagnosis is easy when you're not journaling. But when you're journaling, you get a much more accurate feel. It's really hard to deceive yourself about what's going wrong because it's right in front of you. And so there's three things really to journal. You can journal your thoughts, you can journal your feelings, and you can journal your actions. The actions is where'd you enter, what'd you enter, what time, the lot size, whatever. The feelings and the thoughts is basically like, the thoughts is, why are you entering this trade? What is the thought process to get you in the trade? The feelings is, what is keeping you from making the best decision here? What is getting in the way? Actions is really just, what did you do? Did you close it early? Was it a win? Was it a loss? And so you can journal different things depending on what you need to make progress. But to think that you don't need to journal is a little bit arrogant. To think that you're going to be the one to beat the game, to be, to have this mental memory that's just rock solid and you'll never forget anything. Writing it down solidifies your understanding of something. And as soon as you put it on paper, you won't repeat it again. But people love to live in the comfort of their mistakes. That's why they don't want to write it down, because now they're going to be accountable to not fucking it up again.
Definitely not. That's definitely not what I mean, though. Definitely not. And this is why I say, like, if you're working on something, I feel like it's coming across like I just don't want to journal and I don't give a shit. And
No,
it's not like that at all. So
I get your point, by the way, and same thing with Roger. I understand the point.
yeah, so it's more that you should be able to identify it. My all of my narrative, right, and Riz will know it by now, is that people need to be more accountable for themselves with what they're doing and their actions and this stuff. And of course, I absolutely understand with journaling, and I agree. And this is why I said, like, if you're trying to improve something or check something, and this might be once a week, by the way, it might be within 1 week. Okay, well, this week I don't feel like I did that as well. But you should be able to identify in yourself that I don't think I did that very well. If you're missing, so for example, if you're thinking that it's a lower time frame, but it's not, it's something else, then that's your problem. Like, you should be able to identify that as a trader. That's the basis of your job, is to go, okay, well, that was the issue. If you're getting the issue wrong, then you need to build on that as well, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and I think on top of journal.
So they're really saying the same thing. But Walker is saying that it's hard to identify exactly what's going on until you journal. And he's saying that you just need to build an intuitive sense so that you know what's wrong when things aren't working. The secret is both. Is to become so aware of how to use data to your advantage and how to look at and diagnose what's going wrong. But then to also, over time, because the intuitive piece is about experience. That you can't skip steps and you can't learn. You have to go through building a memory bank over a long period of time that allows you that intuitive sense of when things are right and when things are wrong. So now the goal is to have that analytical side and then to have that intuitive side both working in your favor. You can tell that the numbers are telling me this is not the right conditions, and my gut's telling me these conditions are slow and something big is about to happen. So I'm going to save my chips for the big move, for example. So he's really coming from intuition. He's coming from analysis, and you got to have both. When you're a new trader, do not try to rely on intuition at all. The more experienced traders, you want to slowly get away from relying on the sticky notes and relying on the plan and relying on constantly having the back test by immediately identifying what went wrong. Was it me? Was it the market, or was it the trading system? It's either the trader, the market, or the system. Those are the only 3 reasons why there's a loss. Once you can quickly identify which one it is, and you can humbly admit whether it was you or, without getting in your own way, that's where you become a dangerous trader. That's where you become very effective. And so at first, journal, and then later start to build that intuitive sense. Do I believe that Q Banks journals? I don't think he journals now, because like I said, once you have that long enough, you can make it look easy. But I guarantee at the beginning, when he was trying to quit his job at Target and he was really learning this stuff, he might have been journaling. He probably was. It's really hard to just keep a memory bank of everything that you know without looking at the trade history of what's working for you.
A point, right? I think there's a concept of like you're doing the work of journaling your trades and looking, and then I think the second part is like having a dashboard of data to know, hey, I've been taking more trades than usual, something very small. My size has slowly increased. Why is my size increasing? Why is my size decreasing? Just looking at like data, just as a business, you're looking at your balance sheets, you're looking at your P&L statements, or even if you're not going into each line item, you're just looking at, hey, why are my trades increasing? Why are my trades decreasing, without just looking at the P&L? So there's a journaling component, and then there's like a analytics component that I also think just having in front of your face, you're like, okay, well, why wasn't I able to maximize this trade? So my point comes into like, all right, if I'm taking a trade and I'm making 20,000 on a trade, how do I build the comfortability and confidence to take size and, make 50 grand on it? How do I build the comfortability to build 100,000? Because I can't just wake up tomorrow and increase my size. I need the comfortability and confidence. So when I go through certain systems and routines over and over again,
So this is the one part where I might have to disagree with Umar, which is, it's like you can't just wake up and increase your size. You have to build up your confidence. I say this all the time, but position size is a function of capital, not confidence. I'll repeat that. Position sizing is a function of capital, not confidence. So because you feel like a trade may have more potential than another trade, doesn't actually mean that it has more potential than another trade. And so that's the one area where it's like, if you want to risk more, if you want to make more money, you have to find a strategy that works consistently and then go get as much money as possible. And then just scale that strategy until, at some size, it doesn't scale anymore. But a lot of our strategies, especially the one I'm using, can scale up to millions before it becomes ineffective. So that's the one area. It's he's talking about it from a sense of confidence.
Me personally, that mental confidence builds up. I've seen this happen. I know how to respond to this. Okay.
But again, this is an individualistic sport. Umar has had a lot of success, and so if this is working for him, and you have a similar personality, for example, then this may be the way that you want to approach things, which is sizing things and starting to go a bit heavier as you get more confident, as you see the strategy over and over again. But I just feel like the strategy, what your account size is, and then what your risk tolerance is, that's going to determine how much you should be risking on every trade. So how much capital you got, and then your overall risk tolerance.
Before, and I realized when I increase my size here, I start messing up. So let me kind of be on the backside. So for me, it's helped me eventually make more money and keep pushing the boundaries by allowing myself to take more size, see consistent setups happen over and over again, and say, well, I've seen this happen a million times. I'm comfortable. Risk 40K on this, risk 50K on this. And it was able to,
maybe I'm misunderstanding, but are you a proponent of, in your strategy, depending on the trade type, you'll risk more or less on the setup?
Yeah, because
interesting.
Because when I go back, I'm not even calling it journaling, but going back in data and seeing that setup and that action happen in the market, like something I've seen happen. Let's just say the market would gap up from yesterday's level into a key supply zone. I've seen it happen with good news that happened the day before, but the market isn't digesting the news good. It starts stagnating around 10 a.m. Eastern time. So 30, 40 minutes into the market, once I see it stagnating, I see order flow isn't as aggressive. I'm like, okay, they're going to dump this. When I see kind of action happen similar, I'm like, I've seen this happen so many times. I can go back into a logbook and I can call this like the morning top setup is what I call it. And I've seen it reject. So now instead of me being uncertain about it, I can increase size. Now the times it doesn't work,
So this is actually a really good distinction that he just made. He's using both. He's using the analytics by having seen the trade so many times, and he's using his intuition, again, from the experience of having seen it so many times. So he's not just saying like, yeah, I was really stagnant, and so I knew that something was coming. That's the intuition. I knew that I felt like something was coming. But the other side is, it's one of the three models that he sees consistently as a pattern, and he's identified it as the morning top model, for example. And so he has both. He has the track record and the actual analysis to back it up, and then the experience and the intuition to have that feeling of, something is coming.
Few factors I saw that didn't work here. What were the few factors that did work? Okay, now I keep refining and retuning that strategy or setup.
But for me, it's always been a case of what you kind of describe as trade models. And I've always been advocates of, you don't want to be judging the market on a case by case every day. Of today, I'm seeing timing is lining up with structure, therefore I take it. But the next day, those are the reasons you didn't enter the trade. I think that randomness is conducive to not being profitable, which is why I've always refined it to model types, give them a name, give them a type, and these are your prime setup list. But I've always also been an advocate of maybe different to this of I'll never put more risk on a trade because I feel more confidence in that type. The reason for it is because that's then introducing an element of subjectivity. And now if I feel more confident in it.
Yo, bro, I'm about to have to hit up this dude Wakar and do a podcast with him, bro. Every time he speaks, me and him are on the same page when it comes to like thought process.
Then the one that you didn't put the extra lot size on is the one that played on a one-off basis that can work. But I'm thinking on a long-term horizon where if you're allowing yourself to give based on how you feel more risk on certain and not on the others, now potentially your losers could be bigger and your winners become smaller. That throws off all of your metrics now because your risk reward balance is off, your win rate might be different. And
I mean, you're going with data though, right?
Which is why I'm sure you're saying this is on data.
I agree with what you're saying. And I do think that risk component should be consistent, right? But my risk becomes inconsistent in times of my performance in certain trades, certain months. Like the times I've had my biggest months, I was able to increase size because I had that trade leverage kicking in, right? I've had that comfortability of increasing size. So this year I haven't really been trading much. So I can't go and risk 20, 30 grand right now. But now
it's like a flow state.
Exactly. So now once I get into that flow state, once I get comfortable, once I have kind of the cushion to put on more risk and I see the same setup, I can go and take essentially the same setup, same idea. And instead of risking 10, I can go to 20, but that's not happening the next day. I'm slowly building up to that, right? So it'll go from 10 to maybe 12 to 14 to eventually 20, but I'm around that same realm of risk during that time period. But now if let's say I go in like a weird state where I'm unable to find flow, unable to find consistency in the market, I'll take my risk, I'll bring it down just to find comfortability, just to get my groove back, and then I'll bring it back to that level. But in terms of increasing size, Matt.
So this is another part of the experience. So when you're an experienced trader, you know when to turn it on and turn it off. And I feel like that's knowing the fine line between arrogance like where your emotions are getting the best of you and you're becoming cocky, and then confidence. I think that's where experienced traders know the fine line. And so he's able to gauge when he's in a flow state and when he's, in that flow, like we have been the past 20 streams. Versus you guys have seen me on certain days, not in that flow state at all. I have to rely on a set of rules. Otherwise, my decision making is going to be flawed. And if I don't have the rules, I'm going to be screwed. So having rules protects you on the days where it really matters, the days where you're not in that flow state, and not just the days, but maybe the weeks or months that you're not in that state or in the right life environment to be trading.
I don't do that just because I agree with your point. One or two bad trades is what is going to make or.
I'm going to flip through the broker side because I want to hear some like industry talk, some industry action. Maybe I can provide some stuff from the broker's perspective, because I used to be a US licensed broker, to see what similarities, that they're kind of pointing out between Forex brokers and traditional brokers here.
Right.
But that's where your 3-pillar thing comes in, right? So that will make sense.
What I wanted to ask is, Roger, you've been a trader for how many years? Long time, right?
7 years.
I've been following, or I've been aware of your stuff since I started trading. So you're definitely notable in the industry, and then you've moved, I guess, into the broker space. So you've had your data of your live streams, collaborating with people, and you've kind of established your understanding. I was wondering, now that you have access to a lot more data within the broker and people that are doing profitably and others that are failing, were you able to identify anything interesting between?
Like, can you guys imagine they're asking if somebody who owns a broker about the back-end broker data and they're sharing it? You guys know how hard I used to push to get people who own brokerages to get on our podcast and to just say this stuff openly? This was back in 2020 and 2021. If you guys go back through our old podcast, there's a ton about people who own these platforms that are kind of like clearing it out. But now it's as simple as just asking Raja from down the table, how do brokers, like, what's happening in the back end? You're asking the house, the casino, how they're taking money from the gamblers. And this is insane.
Looking through broker data, actually, and having that kind of insider information of what is really working for people and what doesn't.
Yeah, people hold losses, man.
That's it. Yeah,
they hold on to their losses.
Yeah.
Like we'll see accounts go from like 10,000 to 60,000, and then the next week we'll see accounts from 60,000 to go back down to like 12,000, 15,000, and then a week after that you're seeing that the drawdown is like like 6,000-7,000, and they're still holding. Like sometimes we see gold sales being held for like 500 pips, 400 pips, 200 pips.
Oh.
And once you look at that, because at the same time, when we started our brokerage, right, our whole idea was that, okay, we're entering the brokerage space, which is very saturated at this point. How are we going to make ourselves different, right? Mm-hmm. So we did was, okay, so what we're going to do. Everyone who comes in, will provide them education, right? Because an educated trader is more likely to trade on your platform for a long amount of time, because whenever traders lose, who do they blame? The broker, right? They're like, oh, I'm losing because the broker, this and that, spread, manipulation, whatever, right? So we're like, okay, we're provided, even though education is still there, there's something in their own selves, or they're like, belief systems where they think that maybe price is going to reverse. It's that sense of hope, which I don't really understand that, because at the same time, we also provide them with magic keys. Like I was about to ask you, how do you manage risk, right? Because we have magic keys where you can manage risk with one press of a button. But from what we've seen, people just hold on to the losses, man. They overtrade a lot. Like, even we also send courtesy emails to clients. We're like, hey, we see that you're going up and down. You're not performing well. Is there something we can do? Is there a webinar we can provide to you to help you better, and this and that? They're like, okay, sure. We give them webinars, we give them some help, but still, it's just, I think,
win short and hold the losses.
Yeah, I also think because when I remember back, I lost around 100 and.
So big piece about what Roger just said that stood out to me is that people are holding their losers way too long, and then they're cutting their winners short. This is crucial stuff, guys. It might have been like kind of easy to glance over, but that's a good way to kind of gauge how to think about things. Is don't be one of those people that's scared to close their loss, to accept the loss. You got to be quick with it so that you can minimize your losses, and you have to be confident about your strategy so you can hold to TP1 and TP2 and really let these trades play out. Sway Markets has a new platform. God help you, Nick. Oh, we're not doing that.
And then I lost 150 in a crypto exchange because they shut down Rodriguez CX. And I remember that I went, after that, for 2 months, I went through this time where I was trying to make all that loss back because I had debt and I had bills to pay. You know, so I think once you are in that stage where you know you have debt or you have pressure of your family and you want to make trading work, your hope in trading increases a lot. To so much that you're willing to hold drawdown, you're willing to have no stops, which is just so stupid when you look back.
Talk that
Right?
shit,
So
Raja.
I think it all boils down to what your current financial
Interesting.
situation is.
Fair enough.
What about with TradeZella though? Because I'm sure, do you get to see the data as well?
Some of it is encrypted because of the clients we have. Initially, when we first launched, we were able to just because we were building out the product, and we saw relatively, you know, the same patterns. People inconsistent with size, right? That's why I agree with what he was saying because I would see people.
So those are the two similarities between having a data-driven like a data collection platform like TradeZella and a brokerage. Is he's seeing inconsistency in lot sizing. So if there's one thing to write down from that is consistent lot size and consistent results come from consistent actions.
$800 a trade, and then I would see people risk $2,000 a trade, and that their whole trading would be contingent on that one little trade, and it increases the element of like, you know, surprise in their trading. So it was ultimately that, and I've seen people, you know, make a good amount of money for 1 month, 2 months, and then the moment they go on tilt, they go on like this crazy fuckery mode, and they just lose everything they did in 3 months in like 2 days. So in the early stages, we were able to see it, pay attention to it, and just kind of get the data points of, hey, what issues are traders having so we can start implementing it. But after a certain point, because trading data is so like, you know, important to people, they wouldn't sign up if we didn't encrypt it.
Yeah, you know, we also tried to do this something like a script where they would limit where your MetaTrader would be locked after 2-3 trades. Right? Like there's gonna be an option. Like after 2 trades, your MetaTrader is gonna be locked,
That's good.
or if you lose, let's say you set your risk at like, let's say like 5%, right? If you lose 5%, your MetaTrader is going to be locked. But then, but then we looked at it this way, like, no, but then, because then we're going to get emails, oh, my MetaTrader is locked, I don't know what's going on. They are scamming me, holding my money. We're trying to help you, right? Like the longer you stay on the platform, the more you're going to trade, more commissions it's going to generate for the company as profits. Right. So,
but if it's optional for them, then that's a good idea, right?
It's still optional.
Like if they can sign up.
All it takes is someone to be emotional though and be like, the winning trade was right there and I couldn't take it.
That's
could have taken that, and you guys don't want me to win, and so you know,
it's a vicious cycle. But you touched on flow state earlier, so I wanted to sort of touch on that because a lot of people out there, and a lot of the time in that intuition or flow state, these sort of words, they think, what is that? How do you define that? So is there anything for you guys that you know, in terms of flow state, that is this something you can prime? Is it something that maybe it's just the longevity in your journey that you start to recognize? What is it for you? And we'll work.
It's just deep work. It's having undisrupted deep work, right? So if you notice a lot of traders or people working in general, they're constantly taking their phone, picking it up. They're not able to allow themselves to get into this like consistent deep work element. And I think once you prime your mind to do that with the right environment and remove distractions, you get this weird flow and intuition, which we were talking about yesterday. You get in the market where you start building a level of intuition, you start building a level of flow. And over time, you know, I don't want to say it comes naturally because there are times I'm able to state, but there's also weeks and weeks I just have a really difficult time getting into it. But when I am able to get into it with like, let's say trading, I'm like so locked in, and it's like weirdly you get this intuition, plus you get into flow state and you get super comfortable on taking trades. But there's also a negative side to it. If you're not aware of yourself during that period, I've noticed it can also go south because you can also convince your mind that you're seeing things that aren't there. Because it comes from a bias where it's like, I want to go long. What is everything that supports my long bias? And then you see it more, which is inaccurate. So you have to get into a right flow state, but also understand what your mental blind spots are and how to kind of combat them.
How about yourself?
I don't really know what flow state is. I don't.
Like a flow state is when your mind or when your body just knows how to do something better than your mind does. So when you're a professional athlete and your body has become so accustomed to all the shots that you've practiced and all the times that you've put in work, and instead of sitting there being like, okay, who should I pass it to or who shouldn't I pass it to, your body knows instinctively, like second nature, exactly what you should be doing. That's what the flow state is when you have completely eliminated your thinking mind and you have allowed access to your subconscious mind, which is a storehouse of memory of all of the information that you need to make these good decisions in real time without having to think about it or back there. So breathing, like all the things that are just subconsciously working in the background that you never have to actionably do. That's how good you have to become at a specific skill set. When you're operating out of flow, it's just a consistent ability to access that information without having to think through it.
Trade the fuck out of it, and then the next day I'll sleep. Like it comes down to a very difficult conversation where you're talking about what we were talking about earlier, risk
On getting quality.
You can create one in option side. That's what
Actually, I didn't.
There's
Let's get into the prop firm conversation, see what's
more
happening here.
harm being done than good. Like that.
Man, this kind of like review style is dope, but bro, where's the trolls, man? Do you guys am I toxic for that? Maybe I'm toxic for that. Because I just want where the trolls at, man. Maybe I'm toxic, people. Maybe I gotta work on myself. Because I feel like the action is just, it keeps the streams going.
Like, right. I don't know much about it. I actually just got exposed to it.
I guess I'll do a quick plug halfway through. The reason I have my camera off so I don't get canceled off YouTube for what I'm doing currently in this present moment. But tomorrow, webinar at noon Eastern time. If you guys are interested in getting into NASDAQ trading, I'll be breaking down the basics that you need to know to get started with NAS100 trading. Show up tomorrow, noon, 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be going through the exact strategy that I'm kind of paper trading right here. I'm a little bit down. You guys are my investors. Okay, I'm down 66 million million. And so I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. I'm gonna make my money back for my investors, which is y'all. So I'm gonna be cooking this up. But if you guys want to learn how to trade this strategy, show up tomorrow and I'll catch you there.
In the past couple of months and whatnot, futures, yeah, but I've never looked at it. Like,
we can create one in option side.
Brand
ambassador.
Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, I don't know much about it, but from what I do know is if someone is going the prop route, make sure the money you take out, use that money and build up your own account. A lot of prop firms are going down. They don't do payouts. Like I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about some of them. I've seen that happen. Some of them won't pay you out just because they don't want to pay you out. Because the business model is essentially, and that's the problem I was telling you I have with prop firms, is, when prop firms say they want you to succeed, I don't believe that. Because if every trader on a prop firm succeeded, prop firms would go out of business. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And I wanted to like work and open up my own prop firm. And like, I've looked into it because I've seen how lucrative it is on the backside. But I was like, okay, this business model is successful if other people fail. Right, not knocking prop firms down. I know it has benefited a lot of traders in the space. A lot of traders have done well with it, but also their business model is only successful on the failure of traders. So it's like they can't come out and say, "Well, we want traders to be successful." Well, if that's what happened, your business model goes to shit.
So same as the whole market, though, isn't it?
The market is a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
There's no money created. It's from winners to losers.
Exactly.
And that's what the prop firms have kind of done, commercialized, where the winners are paid out from the losers.
Yeah.
But that's what
Bro, this dude Walker just stays dropping gems, bro. Yo, they've just commercialized the entire trading process where the money goes from the hands of the inexperienced to the hands of the experienced, where money goes from the hands of the losers to the hands of the winners. They just expedited it instead of going through the market by actually sending your trades into the market. It's all demo, it's all foo-foo, and just goes from the people who blow challenges to the people who don't. It's such a good way to frame it because they haven't done anything that isn't already happening. It's the exchange of money from the hands of the experienced to the hands of or from the hands of the inexperienced to the hands of the experienced.
anyway.
They've just heightened what people
It
do.
can feel unethical, but it's not, because
Mhm.
the
But
winners
that's the
were
debate, yeah.
always going to be paid
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the losers in the
Of
real
course.
market. So it's kind of done.
So that's where when I look at it, I'm like, I can't kind of debate it. It is beneficial, but like you said, if people use it as the correct tool and enter it when they're ready, and when they do enter it and they do make money, take the money out and build your own account. Don't always rely on prop firms. Like I know people that have made money from prop firms month over month, and they'll take the money, make it, and go spend it. And I'm like, wait, you have no savings to have your own account? They're like, why would I need one? I have a prop firm. If I fail it, I'll take another challenge.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's gonna take you another month or two, and like just going through so much issues and problems. Take it,
Andrew.
use it as a proper tool, and if you do, I think at that point it's great.
Yeah, that's financial immaturity, basically.
Yeah,
Right? The
yeah.
money you make, you spend it, and you're like, oh yeah, I got more coming in, not realizing,
Yeah. That's my biggest problem with prop firms is the way that people use them. People don't even build a personal account aside them. Like you said, people come into the markets now. They don't even build a personal account. They just go straight to prop firms, and they have no experience trading real money. None. That's why most of them, when they pass the account, they fail, because as soon as you've got the money, the real psychology, real emotions start coming in. And
It's also the prop firms are an illusion if you think about it, in the sense of
Oof, you guys as my investors, I hope that you're happy. We're back in profits. That was stressful. We're back in profits. All right, everybody, 277 mil, a nice payout going. Everybody relax. We made it through.
Yeah, my favorite part is when I go in.
Now, the one thing I don't agree with is this story that you should be funding a live account while you're trading prop firms. Now, I don't see why you would ever put your own money back at risk after you just took your money out of the markets. The whole point is to take money out the markets and to go put it into places that are not correlated, right? Meaning that they do not move the same way as Forex does, or they don't involve the same amount of risk, so that you can have things that, while Forex may not be producing at the moment because markets are dry, you have something else that's working for you. And so you want to take the money, like they're allowing you for $400 or $500 to get access to this fake money, capital, whatever, and to get paid on your skill set, which is what we're basically doing with an account. Now, once you've invested your money and you have this thing growing for you, if at some point prop firms go out of business, you have a nest egg that you can dip into and go start a live account if you really wanted to. But until then, why wouldn't you just use their capital? Why would you put your hard-earned money at risk? You guys see where I'm going with this? Now they're talking about some people just have this thought that you can just keep refunding accounts. Well, just don't be one of those fucking people. All right? If you're not one of those people that's sitting there thinking, like, yeah, if I blow this, it's no problem. Let's fund another one. Let's fund another one. No, you got to tell yourself that I'm going to treat this like it's live capital. I won't blow it, but I don't want to put my own hard-earned money at risk. And so that's my only thing, is I don't believe in funding a live account on the side and all this stuff unless you absolutely have to, especially with the current state of brokerages. You can't fund with these unregulated brokers. And so the only person you can fund with is an Oanda, or you can go with a prop firm. So Oanda, massive fees, prop firm, much lower fees, especially with FTMO. So there's a lot of benefits to trading, a prop firm as opposed to your own live capital.
On Twitter, Instagram, and I see people say, I manage a 600K account. I manage $2 million.
it's more like
I'm
60, yeah.
I'm like, what? That's not what.
And then as someone who trades, for example, and you see the opposite side of people saying, I manage 7 figures under management,
It's
etc.
disgraceful, man.
Disgraceful.
Like,
It
I
was-
see it all the time. Like you see handles saying, "Oh, I'm $1 million funded trader." I'm a half.
Bro, I don't care what y'all say about Raja. He's definitely one of the funniest people in the Forex space. He said it's disgraceful. Bro, give this man an award,
$1
bro.
million funded trader. What does that mean?
Thank God that everybody said this, because we put this out in our podcast, right? And I got so many people. Oh, he doesn't want people to win, and just let them be happy about their prop firm things. And I was saying, the podcast that we did, we was literally saying, you've only got 10% of that account. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, especially when you talk to people that have got 6-figure accounts.
These are my guys, bro. People cursing left and right, calling things disgraceful. Bro, these are my people. So Walker obviously creating, really dropping gems. Umar, unbelievably qualified. So whatever he says, it's got some serious weight behind it. This dude is my guy. Talking about intuition, talking about just, bro, you got to know better. Talking about just, bro, why are you making a mistake? Just do better. And now he's talking about, you don't even have, now he's cursing and whatnot. Is my guy. And Raja just trolling the trolls, the troll of all trolls, the smart Raja concepts. But I love this is a great combination from Riz.
500 quid, and they have 10% of it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a 6-figure trader." You're not. You're
No,
not.
but on the opposite side,
Reed said, I do believe in putting money aside for my own capital, like the guy said, but it's all opinion based. I agree, but why would you, Reese?
so when I started in 2016, we didn't have any prop firms, nothing, right? So for us, it was a whole grind to grind it out and make money and build the account and sometimes, you know, lose it, then build some more.
Mhm.
And then when the 100 accounts came, it was like, okay, well, what's this over here? So I think, like, I don't want to say it that way, but I think like the guys who started like 10, 15 years ago, they see this new thing coming in and it's like, we have a hard time accepting it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like, to be honest, like I have a really hard time accepting it. But then also I see that all these young guys, they're really into the platforms, but they're not using their funds wisely. Because like, I haven't seen anyone say that, okay, like, you know what, I'm like, you know, like $1 million funded trader, but now I have my own six.
He said he didn't let them know he was a millionaire. Nah, he just let them know, Ataman. You said you spoke too soon.
Account. Or I have my own $250,000 personal account that I'm trading, and I've stopped using 100 accounts now. Haven't seen not even one person say that.
I think if that's done, that would be the right approach. And that's where I think if prop firms are used the right way and people do use it the right way, it's respectable and it's like great job. But I think most people kind of abuse it in a negative way and don't know how to manage it. And I think that's where it becomes really, really difficult. So even me saying, oh, people are saying they're managing $1 million account, I don't care. It's not like, oh my God, he cares someone has access to $1 million. It's more so like, hey, if you do have access to that or whatever the case may be, make sure you withdraw and build your own account. Build your, like, have 100, like if you have $1 million access to $1 million, whatever the case may be, and you're able to make 100 grand, make sure that 100 grand is sitting in an account ready for you to trade. Like, why would you not trade that? Why would you want to trade a prop firm account that has so many restrictions, in my opinion?
Because why would you put your own money at risk when you can have somebody else's money at risk? It's OPM, other people's money. Now, you guys are my investors. So we just hit TP1. Should I close the trade or let it run to TP2? You guys are the investors, so you do get a say in this. I have a 51% vote, so I get the final say. But I'll put a 1 in the chat if I should take partial or if I should take the profits. Put a 2 if I should leave it running to TP2. Put a 1 if I should close. Put a 2 if I should leave it running. 2 steps at close. Let me see. Said Raja ain't letting them know he's a millionaire. Yeah, he did. It took him about 30 seconds to get to it. He probably let them know a few times. I'm not gonna lie, Roy. I'm saying that's a gem I'm not gonna lie, Roy. Him saying that is a gem in and of itself. Self-image / identity. That's what I got from it. It is, bro, for real. You guys are saying close, but this is why I'm in the fucking captain's chair. All right. This is why I'm driving this boat and y'all are watching me drive this boat, because y'all want to make the decision to close it. And I ain't closing this trade. I ain't closing this trade. We already had the liquidity grab. We're already back in profits. I ain't closing it. Now I respect all of my investors' decisions. I respect y'all, George. I respect you guys. However, I get the final vote. That's why I'm fucking driving this ship. You guys are going to watch me do this. You shouldn't hate on Raja's success. I love Raja, bro. Stop playing around. Yo.
If you're able
I'm
to
leave this trade
accumulate that amount of money.
No, definitely. I think what you touched on there is people get so attached to the prop firm account. That's it. And then they get so...
All right, gentlemen, I might have landed us back in drawdown, but that's okay because I trust the strategy. And as long as we have not broken the previous highs, the trade is still valid. I'm going to let this thing run. All right? Just hold on tight.
It's also status of like you want to get that virtue signal of I'm an X-figure
It's
trader.
gamified. That's what it is. They gamified it really well. So gamified mentally, you're like, oh my God.
It's actually a very like it's the right thing to do for a new trader. I think it's the way to go. But it's more like I want the social validation of I have an X amount. But the harder route is you take the profits, withdraw it, and put it into a live account. But they want that end goal validation.
Yo, real quick. All right. We have a double bottom here at the 61. We're already forming a new support. We have an inverted head and shoulders formation right here. It's looking kind of rough. However, we had the rejection. The body of the candle is closing under the 886. So for my masterclass people, this one's for you. Hold it now. Put a 1 if I should hold. Put a 2 if I should close. 1 for hold, 2 for close. 1 for hold, 2 for close.
Sure.
Right, just by getting the accounts. I wanted to ask you guys, what is your thoughts on like once you start
Bolu vlog says close. Let me get a few more opinions here.
withdrawals. it's kind of everyone's so reinvest.
Josh
fund,
Luna,
refund
Nick,
your live
Roman,
account, keep
James,
going, keep
everybody's
going.
saying hold it.
It also reaches a point, in my opinion, where you got to stop and not think of keep growing the account, but you got to
Take out. Yeah.
I'm gonna trust my people, guys. I'm gonna trust my people. We're holding it.
take it out and deploy, not take it out and spend, but deploy in other ways. So what's your guys' thoughts on
Well,
that?
I was just thinking that when you were saying take it out and put it in a personal account, you could also put it into a business.
Yeah.
You could also buy property with it. You could invest it in other ways. It's just using it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what. Sorry.
I think when you use it, you also feel it's real. I think for me, the first 3-4 years, I never took money out. I would just keep increasing it. I want to hit this number. I would have a drawdown. Go up, draw down. And then I'm like,
We're at TP2, people. We're at TP2. I'm gonna close. Making money for the investors, all right? You're making money for the investors.
like, what am I doing all this for? So then I slowly started making a habit of withdrawing monthly, even if it's a little bit amount of money, and I would make sure I spend it so it feels real. And then that kind of changed everything for me, because now it's like, it's not just numbers on the screen, because we as traders become so like insensitive to the numbers, especially when we don't feel it. You see 10K up, you're up 5K, it doesn't feel the same, right? Especially when it's smaller numbers, depending on how much you're trading with. So when you feel it, you withdraw it, it goes in your bank account and it's real. You're like, okay, this is actually real money. I think on my 4th year of trading, I took out some money. I had about $20,000, $25,000. I would keep it on my table and I would feel it. And
on today's episode of I should have held this trade.
And weirdly, that was so big for me because I needed that feel. Like, you know, when you hold $10,000 of cash, it feels a lot. When you see it on the screen, it doesn't feel like a lot, right? You're like, okay, I'm up 10K or whatever. But when you hold it, you're like, holy shit, this is how much I just burned in 20 minutes, right? So that was like big for me on feeling that it's real. And then withdrawing it and putting it in like other places and whatnot was like a big thing for me, because now it's like, hey, what I'm doing makes sense. I'm more careful on like protecting my money now. I'm more kind of protective on how I use it, how I spend it in the markets, what trades I take. Hey, I'm not going to lose X amount of money for no reason. So you become more cautious.
Can I actually reflect that question back to, because you said with prop firms did you say that that's the best thing for new traders to be doing?
Obviously, it's within the timeline. It's not from day one at all.
Right.
It's first the
I use FTMO.
skill set, then access the capital. Once you have the capital, then withdraw it and put it to use. I think part of that is putting into a personal account, but the only reason you would do that is if the prop firms are providing you limitations. But I feel like they're actually getting very good now because it's very competitive. And new ones coming out literally every month.
So what I think about that, I think there's going to be something happening in that space in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, so you got to be protected. Like if they disappear, you got to have something there. But my belief is I don't want to be trading in 20 years.
No.
And I don't think it's like a skill for life. I think it's for our youth, or it's the active later in life.
God, that's so good, dude. This guy's spitting, man. He's acknowledging that there's we all have a finite longevity in the trading space, because the ability to use your mind and concentrate your emotional energy for that much time is not going to be possible. So you do have a window where you're supposed to maximize. That's why I'm telling you all to invest the trading money. This is not financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial professional, but to invest the money in places that are unrelated to Forex, because at some point we won't be able to trade anymore. And you better have built a good enough nest egg from somewhere that's going to continue to pay you forever. And that's how you really move on to the next step. Is ICT your mentor? Don't ever disrespect me like that again, Pikachu Solu.
You're supposed to, in any business, there's different types of leverage, where you have skill leverage, management leverage, staff leverage, and then you have capital leverage, which is why people take investors. Instead of having debt of management and team, you take the debt of finance. So therefore, finance is a very important thing for any business to succeed. You need to have that basis. Now, if you don't really have means of getting that quickly or in a good amount of time, or you don't have the skill set or opportunity because you're working a normal job, you're not going to be able to access capital well. Okay, this is an opportunity for you. Or you increase your skill set, getting into a higher pay, doing sales, you can make a lot of money through commissions. But the objective is to make cash flow to do something with. It's not just to make cash flow forever, because I think it's a very mentally draining industry to be in. You don't have any time freedom, or at least in the way I trade. I can't take a month off because I won't get paid. So I think it has a lot of pros, but it has cons. And as I develop later in life, those cons will become more prevalent. Whereas right now, I don't have any responsibilities, no kids or anything. So I don't have any of those issues. But later in life, I don't want to be in the same situation.
Sure. I agree.
My position is I want to get the cash flow to do something with, which I'm doing now with businesses and so forth, investments. I don't want to keep it in the market too long. I want to deploy it as years go on. And I've kind of mentally got barriers of, in my first years, I'm going to deploy less, but as each year goes on, I'm going to start to deploy more so that I know I have, let's say, a 10-year exit plan. In the first years, I'll take only 10% out. But as I get to the 10-year mark, I'll take 90% out. And then eventually think of a mental exit where I want to be just business. That's it. And that's what I enjoy more, I think, actually, understanding business. I've really enjoyed trading, and it's a weird thing to enjoy because you're just looking at lines on a screen. But and we find beauty in that, actually.
Yeah.
For people that don't do it, they won't understand. But there's definitely beauty in it. But I feel like I want to contribute more in the sense of we don't have any real skills in life. We're just actually isolated beings sitting on a screen, providing nothing to the world. And that's fun. And I
Yo,
enjoy
son, I promise you guys, the next time y'all see a video drop, I'm doing a podcast with whoever this dude is. Wakar Asim. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This boy's dialed in. That boy is locked in. I'll tell y'all right now.
You're probably nothing. You're just buying and selling.
This drink kicking my ass.
For yourself, if you even can do that. Even worse, if you're
This drink is definitely kicking my ass. Starting to hit. I'm about to have to log off here soon before I start saying dumb shit. Also, hitting these trades. I'm gonna let you guys know. Hit that like button the same way I'm hitting these trades. If you learned something, let me know. If not, you're not paying attention. Open your ears, clean the wax out your ears, and pay closer attention. I personally know 30 and 40-year-old traders. That is a career for people. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can, but the older traders are not as effective as the younger traders. Look at everybody who has a professional fund. Like, look at even George Soros, the #1 Forex trader of all time and all history. Even he hired Stanley Druckenmiller in his older age. Stanley Druckenmiller managed the quantum fund, and George Soros was still finding opportunities and plays and doing research and being on the ground and looking at certain central bank policies. But it was Stan Druckenmiller that was managing the positions, putting on real size, and really taking on that risk. And so the ability to withstand risk and to have the stomach for it, but we all grow out of it. Trust me. Especially if you get stuck on your ways and the markets are changing in front of you. So make your bag, bro. If you want to open up a fund, make sure you hire somebody young to be able to come and follow in your footsteps. You heard?
just sitting by yourself and losing money, and you're providing no value to the world or to yourself. But I think, you know, later in life is the most fulfilling thing, and also a level of ambition. I think all of us have an entrepreneurial spirit inside of us. I think through that, you need contribution to the world, and I think that's the best way is through entrepreneurship and business.
I agree.
What was your first withdrawal, which felt real? You're like, oh shit, okay, you know what? This is actually working. This is real.
I did something that we just discussed we shouldn't. I went and bought a watch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
My first Rolex.
See, mine's weird because my first withdrawal was, I did the same thing as you did, where I didn't withdraw anything for 2-3 years. I just was trying to stack up.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I started my chauffeur company, was the first time I withdrew anything. So the first thing I withdrew was I went and bought an S-Class with it. So that was when that's when it felt really, really, really.
I got a car.
It felt,
So my first withdrawal was an S-Class. What the what? What are you talking about, bro? No, he said he just started a business using the money, and then he used that money to buy the S-Class. That's a hell of a first big withdrawal. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
really real. But imagine you never withdraw anything, and then you're driving back from London in a brand new S-Class.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, bro.
That was that feeling of it actually being real. Yeah, that was for me. That was my first proper withdrawal. So yeah.
Yeah, for
What
me,
did you do?
I remember I withdrew. This was after a lot of losing. My first real withdrawal was about $4,000. I was sleeping and I woke up the next morning. I was waiting for it to hit the bank. Right, the bank account was at 16,000. And I looked at my bank. It logged in and it was 21,000. And I was like, what? $4,000 came in, 21,000. At that moment, I knew that if I can do this once, I can do this over and over and over and over again. And just didn't stop after that. Because once you get it, and once it's real and you can spend it just in your bank, man, that feeling is just so crazy.
But this is why prop firms are interesting, because there's such a difference in reality, isn't there? Trading a six-figure account, real account, is completely different to 10% of one that you've been refunded for and you've only got. It's completely
You
different.
can withdraw $50K and shit with
course,
it.
well, of course. And this is the thing, like, even if you trade a prop firm account and you make good money out of it, you still, in my opinion, need to have the experience of trading real money. I think that eventually down the line, like you said, if in 6 months' time or 1 year's time, and prop firms disappear, there's going to be a lot of people that have never traded any proper capital, a lot of them, and they'll all be fucked.
I think there's definitely a difference in psychological barriers too of trading prop firms 100 grand and your own 100 grand. I'm pretty sure like there's got to be something
Oh, big
involved,
time,
right?
yeah, of course. There's no risk to the prop firms at all.
But the
There's
risk
zero,
is your challenge fee. So it might be you're not going to lose 100 grand. You're going to lose your one.
Said no, it's not fair to compare George Soros to little retail fishes. You're a little retail fishes. And everybody else on this chat is whatever the fuck they want to be. If they choose to be the next George Soros, whatever, not with the integrity and moral ambiguity part, but with the trading and starting a large fund part, that's up to them. If you want to limit yourself to believing that you're not, and you'll never have the potential to be that, the person who thinks they can, the person who thinks they can't are both correct. Pikachu, Solu. Roy at US Traders needs something like a Darwin X0 that accepts US clients. Create that, will you? There has to be a way to legally do it. I think Darwin's model is regulatorily, like from a regulation perspective, buddy's drink kicking my ass. From a regulation perspective, I think what Darwin's doing is very tough. And you're going to be stuck in loopholes out the ass here in the States. I actually think that FTMO's model, FTMO can accept US clients because they're not actually sending trades to market. So whatever game where you get rewarded for your performance in the game, I think is a way to bypass the whole financial regulation aspect. So as long as they register as a game and they're not registering as a financial services company, you can use them in the States. Now, the flip side is if anything goes down, I told the boys, just register as a casino, register as a gambling company, because apparently gambling is legal in America, but we can't trade because they don't trust idiots to trade because they think that we're fucking stupid. So register as a gambling company and we can do whatever we want. That's what spot trading is. Also, I'm hitting these trades right now. I hope that my investors are happy. Thank you guys for your patronage.
Where you want to go in the industry, I think a lot of people, like you said as well, the goal is not really to trade forever for the rest of our lives. It never has been. And I think for most people that get into the industry, it's always like, I want to do this and make money and then deploy it into other things or look after family or whatever it may be. And I think that that's super important, super important to have that direction with it. But when you don't have the ability to move forward in business and trading, like if you're stuck with prop firm money and you have no experience dealing with your own money, no experience dealing with investors or their money, you're super limited. Where can you go? And especially if you start dealing in business and you want to open a business with that capital that you've used from a prop firm and you have to put your own money into a business.
I just went way too fat on the leverage for this one. This one's going to hurt if this thing don't go our way. So as my investors, I'm basically betting the whole fund right now. So I'm just letting you guys know I would never do this on a regular account.
Then you're
this shit finna happen.
The way that you're cushioned from a prop firm will translate.
Close or hold.
So you, of course you can use the money from the prop firm.
All right, we just hit TP2. Put a 1 if I should close, put a 2 if I should hold. I'm in deep. I got positions loaded up out the wazoo right now. Put a 1 if I should close, put a 2 if I should hold. 1 for close, 2 for hold. 1 for close, 2 for hold.
But as soon as you then have to take that money and put it into something.
And when y'all are busy figuring that out, I already have my decision made up. So I'm about to let this thing play. But I'm going to let you guys type this out because I do want to hear all the opinions real quick. So James said, I heard those mouse clicks. Yeah, buddy. Let's just say it was a quick trigger finger. Everyone's saying close. I see a bunch of close. And then I'll have two-step and Mo saying balls to the wall. There's no partial closes on the replay challenge.
Actually your money, then you're still going to be on the back foot from someone who's like Raja, who lost 6 figures. When you were saying I'm
closing partials,
100K.
I'm closing the trade because I know better.
Like 100 grand in a week, so they're going to turn around and be like, oh my God, like real money. What? Whereas Raja's like, okay, we've seen this, we've dealt with this.
Son of a
what
bitch.
I'm doing with it. And then you scaled up.
Man, this is why patience pays, man. This is why patience pays. No, that joint hit all the way down to TP. That's nutty. That's the nutty professor right there. All right. Well, I'll go through a bunch of these concepts tomorrow in the Intro to NAS100 webinar. Take it easy, y'all. It's pretty late tonight. Go do something. This is a great podcast. I'm going to comment on the rest of this thing, but seems like they all have their own perspectives on things. I went through what I thought regarding journaling versus intuition, using analytical data versus your intuition. We talked about prop firms and the benefits of trading your own capital versus other people's money, withdrawals. And so we can really go through and talk about, we can go through the rest of this thing tomorrow after the webinar and kind of make it like a book club kind of thing and just learn all together. But for now, I think that's enough. It looks pretty straightforward. It said close if it's a real trade and don't do it again if investor funds. Yeah, I mean, look, perfect trade from start to finish. This thing would have been a banger. If I just held it, I would have made way more money, but we're up $3.5 billion. So for whoever it was saying I can't be Soros, very clearly, if I had a big enough account, I maybe possibly could be, right? This was slightly reckless. Let's be real. Slightly reckless. I'm going to take one last trade, and we'll call it a night. I'm going to bet the whole farm on this one because it's a game. It's going to be kind of fun. I'm not going to bet the whole farm. I'm going to walk away with billions. I'm going to walk away with $1 billion or $2 billion. So I'm going to risk from the billions. Okay. Keep the risk moderate. If it comes back for a retest, I'm entering one more position. Oof. Unfortunate. We just blew 200 mil. You could be the George Soros because you're profitable today on a back test. Dude, you need to trade for years and years to prove consistency. I don't need to do nothing. Yo, fool can make me, mate. That's what I would tell you. So I'll trade for however long I want. I'll become George Soros if I want. You ain't gonna stop me. That's how I feel. It's also a very stark reality. I'm trying to find one last good trade. The goal is to get this thing to 4 billion because I get to keep $1 billion. I'm gonna distribute 3 billion. All right. So I'm trying to make this work.
That really well because you're used to it and you can.
Yeah, from some people,
Is important, and maybe more so particularly for a man, because you want to be, it's in within our predisposition to be a provider. So I do think it's important, but you can't be one-dimensional. I would much rather than super wealthy, I'd rather be of abundance. Doesn't need to be a billionaire or multi-millionaire, just of abundance, but still have equal groundings in my fitness, my mindset, my relationships, my spirituality. I'd rather have a holistic person than very heavy in finances and then lacking in other areas.
Yeah.
I think the kind of red pill notion right now is hyper focused on attraction, getting girls, and getting financial strength. And you
said your psychology needs some checks. Stay humble or the market will humble you. But it sounds like you're a little upset. It sounds like if there's anybody's psychology, you're in the comment section typing out paragraphs. I'm on a 20 trade win streak, baby. This is rock solid. You don't have to hit me with a truck to get me to get in this emotionality. So you're clowning yourself.
usually to get the girls, it's around your financial strength. So it boils down to just being rich. And obviously, if you look into the back end, it's like, oh, if these guys are promoting this for young, insecure men who are, not really in a good financial position because of their age, is normal, or they're working a normal job, but they're told by these big guys who are like, you should be like this, you should be like that. You're birthing insecurities, you're creating a problem, and then they come in with the solution, which is, I have something to teach you that will make you rich. So you create the problem, you give them, you charge them solution. So, if it's not framed in the best way, and there's always an ulterior motive, but I think a lot of the messaging out there of that kind of stuff is good. Like, you know, they're telling you good things and some people need like a role model to look up to. They need strong masculine,
Especially men nowadays.
I think on balance is doing more good than harm, where they're teaching, you know, to take away the fluff, take away the polarizing things that people say for clicks. People do that, is fine. But you know, you look at the core principle and you're like, okay, what does that truly
This guy spitting, bro, saying, get rid of all the salacious stuff that I say. There's genuine value being provided here. And you kind of have to cut through, because there is a lack of leadership today. And there's a lack of people with clear conviction and a clear sense of direction on how to move forward. And these are the people that matter the most. And I appreciate that shout out indirectly, Walker. Bro, somebody hit him up and tell him I'm doing a podcast. This guy's
a man who's principled, a man
gems.
who's going to be disciplined, not motivated. You know, motivation is fleeting. Discipline eats it for breakfast. So if you instill these principles, it's going to help you achieve the things you want to achieve. And some people don't even know what they're aiming for. But if you're kind of told, okay, aim for these pillars, be in shape, be strong, be confident, well, that's fine. That's good. So I think you take everything with a pinch of salt in the online space, but I think overall it's a good message.
For me, I got a family, right? So I got a family, I got 2 kids. So for me, it's like have enough to really make sure that my kids are safe after I'm done. Right. And also, like, while my parents are alive, to have enough to provide them the best type of life till they're here. Because, like, to be honest, like, all our parents are at the stage where they will pass away, right? So for me, it's not about
I'm betting the farm.
And this is not like a man, right?
I'm
for
betting
me,
the
it's all
farm.
about like make enough, have enough, and save enough, kind of like, you know, and invest.
Sorry, y'all. This is the YOLO trade. I'm gonna feel like Michael Burry for a second. All right, I'm gonna feel like Michael Burry. I know you guys hear the clicks. That's happening right now. Okay. Now I just find it funny when you selling courses. Bro, Pikachu, go home, bro. Get off my stream. Go. Bye-bye. Go. Time out. Okay. This one's stressful, y'all. This is for all the marbles. This is stressful. This is stressful. Okay. And by stressful, I mean this is demo. So oof. Ooh. We're down 12 billion, guys. We're down 12 billion. All right, so hold on. I'm going to make a call to 0.72 Capital. I'm going to see if they can lend us a $3 billion credit line so we can keep the show on the road. Okay? Because I ain't giving up that easy. I ain't giving up that easy. I just called Melvin Capital. Melvin Capital said, it's okay. We blew a bunch of money on GameStop. We'll bail you guys out just like we got bailed out, just so you can make it back. I said, thanks, guys. I'm going to do the same reckless shit again. They're like, wait, Roy, don't do it. I said, okay, I'll risk responsibly based on the $3 billion. Thank you for the credit line. I just hung up. Now, you guys are my investors. I just did what I had to do for us. Okay? What I had to do for us. And what I'm about to do right now is I'm going to use the credit line that they just gave. I'm not going to throw the same 100 million lots that I threw. I'm only going to throw 50, go half. And the risk and reward should make up for it. I'm not taking this thing all the way up like this. I'm going to take it up to TP1, or sorry, TP3 right here. All right, wish us luck. We just went down 12 billion, people. That's 12 billion. Shout out to Melvin Capital for the bailout. Okay. We've recovered half the losses. We recovered half the losses, and we're up 7 billion on Melvin's money. What do you guys think? Should we close it and recover half the losses, or let this baby ride and make it all back and take this thing straight to Wakanda? You guys tell me. You guys tell me. Should we close this, or should we hold this the last decision of the night? But you guys got to tell me what we're doing here. Ride that sucker to Wakanda. Mo, that was too quick. How'd you even type that so fast? Isn't that Pico from like 3 streams ago? Josh, I don't know, but I'm about to put you as a moderator so you can kick him out if he ever comes back, because that kid's obnoxious. I don't want him back here again. Y'all on YouTube are watching. I need you guys to make a decision here. Am I closing or am I holding? We're down 12 billion right now. You guys are my investors. Now I got the 51% say, so obviously you guys know me. I already have my decision in mind that I'm about to do, but I want to hear it from you first. George says, send it flying to the moon. Oh, man. Wakanda forever. All right, the people have spoken. This next candle, if this thing crashes and we lose all the money, y'all, Melvin's calling me, and they're going to have the pitchforks. Okay. Still sitting at 7 billion. Guys, this is where it gets tough. You don't understand, because this is TP3 right here. But we're trading in this bullish market, so I could just let this thing ride for TP4 and we could make it all back, or I could close the whole trade. Melvin's calling me right now, and I'm looking at the phone. I'm saying, damn, Melvin, give me a second, because I got to make this decision right here. Now, if I could close partial profits, I would. And if I could if I can move it to break even, I would. But assuming I can't, I got to make a choice here, people. I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to let it ride. It's Wakanda forever on this one. It's TP3. I'm not extending the TP anymore. It's TP3 and that's it. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. 88.6 to negative 27. We're back 1.5 billion profits. 1.5 billion profits. I'm quitting while I'm ahead. Oh my God. 88.6 double bottom. Straight to the negative 27 extension TP4. Oh, wordy. Imagine this joint keeps going. Yep, of course it did. Oh, we would have been up. Oof. All right. One last one. Just for good luck. Oh, come on. Oh, we just traded this, I'm pretty sure. All right, someone call Melvin Capital. Tell him we've recovered the funds and tell him that we've made it out. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys showing up. It's been a great Friday. I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time, noon. There's drink kicking my ass. I'm about to get off and then go do something fun with my life. I'm about to go hit up the boys, maybe while out. Actually, probably do something cool, calm, and respectable. Smoke some shisha, hang out. This podcast, super fire. I'm going to hit up this dude, Bakar. We're going to do a podcast together for sure. I love the way that he, I got to do a follow-up podcast with Umar. We made the money back, Melvin Capital. They're off the line. Drop a like before you guys head out. And of course, I'm going to catch you on the next stream. Take it easy, happy and safe trading. All right, pretty dope.